guys hear me?
Sadly.
No. Yeah, pretty much. If you can speak a bit louder.
I'm like yelling. I can't yell louder.
Well, I don't know. Can everyone hear him good? He's a bit quiet on my side.
Yeah, we can hear him. We can
Maybe
hear
you
him.
want to clean your ears out. Heli, you want to clean your ears out?
Dude.
All that.
Anyway.
I was going to say, you don't want to go there with ears with him, do you?
Yeah, it's a soft topic. Not topics. Soft spot.
Well, Heli, are you gonna apologize? Are you gonna apologize to everybody for making me late?
Yeah, I'm gonna 100% apologize for rescheduling a meeting based on Commander's desire to reschedule that overrun to this one.
Well,
my bad.
okay. All right, okay. That's
the burning question is, did you actually get what you needed from the meeting?
We
yeah.
did, yeah. We
did.
Good. So for everybody in the room, that means Commander got his lucky pants. They all think you've been out shopping for some underwear.
Oh, I need underwear.
JT, give us the cover story.
I need underwear. I somehow I always buy 2 things from Costco and I never find them like a week later. So underwear and socks.
Bro, what is this fucking name? I swear to God, bro, what is going on? Let's get on topic, guys. Come on, let's fix up and get on topic. Cause
well, you know what, this bit of the recording is going to be put to one side.
Promptly cut off. Yeah,
absolutely. But what a crowd that we've got.
This part of the recording will boost our SEO. I highly recommend we keep it.
Okay.
This is what the algo eats. A lot of nonsense.
This is what everybody has been waiting months to hear.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
All right, we'll focus. I apologize on Heli's behalf for being late. I double booked a meeting because I don't use calendars. That's the truth. So the meeting went well.
Excellent. And as far as this evening, I was saying to the guys that, you know, we have got a hell of a lot of content to go through this evening. So, you know, we'll cover what we can. We'll try and leave as many people coming up to ask questions at the end, just so that we can make sure that we're timely with what we have to cover off. But please use the chat box. If it is a decent question, I will ask it. But we'll get people up on stage towards the end, just so that we kind of keep to time. But yeah, we have a hell of a lot of content. There's been a lot going on in the background that you guys are not aware of, and hopefully today we get to kind of get to peek behind the curtain and letting you guys on what we've been up to. So I mean, in terms of the list that we covered off, Joe, where do you want to start, mate? Should we start with Paraguay?
Yeah,
seems as good a price as any.
I was gonna go through the announcement, take it from the top, go through the agenda. If I've learned anything in almost 2 years of this project's lifetime, it's to be succinct, give the information directly, and get to the AMA portion as quickly as possible, because the questions that you guys come up with tend to actually be very effective in providing information. So we'll start with the Paraguay expansion. So for the new ears in here, it looks like there's some new people. We originally launched September 2021. Briefly, the idea was to fractionalize crypto mining using ERC 721 tokens. So we minted our Genesis collection under Enigma Economy NFT. It was about 14,200 NFTs in total between V1 to 4. And that was minted over a period of a few months. Then we started by hosting our miners, and then we eventually built a facility. We did a proof of concept payment to show that we can use NFTs to distribute mining output. And then we sort of developed a new company, a mother company called ALTERI, and we moved to Paraguay.
And Joe has rugged. Oh,
Did he?
I love it.
Shit.
I love it. I thought he was going for a dramatic pause there. You know, I was going to say, so okay, Joe, why did we pick Paraguay? That would have been the first question, right?
I literally was about to say, I was like, Joe, you okay? And then you said, no, he's driving. So he might have just gone to an area that has no good signal, because I've been on the call with him earlier.
Dear me.
Anyway, I'll kind of pick up where he left off real quick. If he doesn't come back and like, oh, there he is. There we go. Good. Oh, and he just rugged again.
No, he's back in. He is here. So, Commander, we thought you were going for the dramatic pause there. So, you're waiting for us to ask you a question. So, why Paraguay?
I was actually picking up some bad meat to eat, and for some reason, everything just turned off. I don't know what's going on. But long story short is we created a hosting side to the business model. It was called ALTERI Enterprise. This is based in the UAE in Dubai. And the idea for creating ALTERI was to scale very quickly this business model that we had started developing, which was retail-friendly crypto mining, fractionalized using NFTs. So NFTs kind of became a software as a service that allowed people to access the fractional part of their miner, track the output, trade, and also not have to exit their full position. So instead of having one physical miner and having to sell it if you wanted to exit your position, you can have one physical miner represented by 100 NFTs, and you can sell 50 NFTs, and now you've exited only half your position. So it created a lot of interesting new values. And so ALTERI's focus has been on really clean energy crypto mining solutions. And so we focus both on Web3 and Web2 clients. And so our first location was in North Carolina. That was Enigma Economy's Genesis location. Now our first international location under ALTERI is in Paraguay. The reason we chose Paraguay is because it was a bunch of different factors. One, it was on sort of hinging on tropical, subtropical, as temperate, sorry. So the weather is, the climate's kind of temperate. You don't have any extremes in heat or extremes in cold. It's also fully hydroelectric. It's 100% off-grid, so it's a socially responsible way of using energy. Most of North America is on-grid mining, which means you're taking power away from people who need it for hospitals, for schools, for residential purposes. So the end goal for any crypto mining business should be to be an off-grid power supply that is 100% clean. And that's what Paraguay was. They also had much cheaper energy, so we're looking at going from an all-in cost of like 5.5 cents to 3.8 cents. That's our cost. That's not the cost we sell to clients. Of course, if you're an Enigma Economy holder, you're getting our cost. 1 cent. All right, sorry.
Okay.
What's up?
No, sorry, I was just going to mention to people that you're probably muting for a second, but you came back. Oh, good.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So that's Paraguay. So we've been down there. We've met the local partner that we're going to be working with. It's been a long process of due diligence, and just in the last a couple of weeks, the whole process has been a little over 4 or 5 months, and just in the last 2 weeks, we signed contracts, we paid for the expansion. We now have a 4 megawatt facility that's almost done with construction. We've also completely committed the 4 megawatts. So that is a win for both Enigma and ALTERI, because for those of you who don't know, most of you already know, the reward pool that Enigma Genesis holders can access in order to claim rewards is boosted significantly by our hosting side, or ALTERI. So if we have 4 megawatts that is fully committed, it's almost like half a megawatt being shuttled to the Genesis collection. And that's on top of what Genesis is mining for itself. So that's a huge win. We honestly thought it's going to take a month or 2 months to commit 4 megawatts worth of capacity. That's approximately $5-6 million worth of miners that will be sitting in Paraguay. Now, why Paraguay is important for Genesis holders is because our Genesis miners will relocate to Paraguay in order to make them about 30 to 50% more profitable. There is really no reason to keep Bitcoin miners in North America. There's regulatory uncertainty. There's also way too much expense when it comes to energy rates. It just makes no sense. Our L7s from the EMF1 collection will remain in North Carolina until September, and then we will decide if we want to move them or not, because they're relatively profitable in North Carolina, because L7 miners don't really suffer much when it comes to energy. Usually only 20% of their revenue is going to cost, whereas in Bitcoin mining, those miners will lose about 60%, 40 to 60% of what they mine to energy. So energy is a much more important factor when mining Bitcoin with Bitcoin machines. Okay, so that's the update on Paraguay. JT, Heli, did I miss something?
I think you pretty much covered it, bud.
I think you're good. Yeah, I don't see anything that we missed on that one.
So I think that provides a lovely segue into the next item on the agenda. So, I mean, you've hinted there that we've nearly filled up already for 4 megawatts.
Yes.
So how the hell do we do that? And does that relate potentially to some new clients, possibly?
Yeah, so Sam Bankman-Fried sent us a lot. I'm just kidding. So one thing that JT and Heli have done an excellent job doing is reaching out in the Web3 space, finding projects that need to equip their NFTs with some utility, mining utility, obviously. And so we've been in discussions with SteadyStack for a long time, and we're white labeling our software. And also, we are going to be procuring and managing their miners for the SteadyStack Legends. So that was a relatively large deal. I would say that was probably our largest Web3 or /NFT white labeling deal. We have a few others that are now in process, so we can't really disclose them until we are sure. But those obviously are not being factored into the 4 megawatts. SteadyStack will approximately take 22%, 23% of that 4 megawatts. So about 1 megawatt, right under 1 megawatt. Other clients include non-Web3 clients. We have some investors outside of Web3 who have filled up another 1.5 megawatt. We have our own miners. So Enigma is going to be pretty close to 2 megawatts with the EMF. So actually what we're doing right now is looking to expand further. We might go from 4 megawatts and directly scale up to 10 megawatts by end of year, and start allocating that space as well in advance. And so that's what we're sort of focusing on. JT and Heli are focusing on bringing in those Web3 deals, and Stephen and I have been focusing a lot on Web2 deals. Okay. Was that JT? Did I do good there? I need to.
Well, Heli and I are going to go and get our scoring cards out. No. That's absolutely superb. I mean, I think one of the questions that then comes up. Obviously, we got a number of clients into the current facility in North Carolina, and you mentioned there obviously about the current EMF miners. What's actually going to happen to the people that have buy and hosted with us? What will happen to their miners, do you think?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So the one downside to mining in Paraguay is shipping is expensive. It's a landlocked country, and things usually will go through from Miami to Uruguay, and then from there to Paraguay. So shipping is more expensive, and then there's a 16% import tax. So it costs money to move them. If you do the math, like some of our whales were doing the math on how much, so for example, take two scenarios. One scenario, you leave a miner in North Carolina. Another scenario is you eat the cost, you send it to Paraguay. So now you have two miners, exactly the same miners. One is in North Carolina mining, and one is in Paraguay. You paid about $300 for that miner to be sent and imported to Paraguay. It will take approximately, but it will make that miner will make about 20 to 30% more profit a day. Let's just say that's $2. And so let's say the one in Paraguay is making $7 a day, the one in North Carolina is making $5. So you can do the math to see how long it will take for those $2 profit every day to cover that difference in shipping cost. And usually it's going to be less than a year. And then the lifetime of miners is 3 to 6 years. So you'll get your money back for moving your miners, and then you'll make more profit every single day. So it definitely makes sense. Now, the only reason I would not send miners to Paraguay is if we expect their lifetime. So mostly if you expect that their lifetime is less than 2 years. Or less than a year, especially, then I just think it's not really worth it. But most, our entire facility is only about a year old. So most miners are at most a year old. Most are younger than a year. So most people will choose to move. And, we've talked to a lot of our buy and host clients. Most of them do want to move. To help them with the cost, we're actually going to be covering 50% of the cost of moving. So if you're a buy and host client, you're going to be paying only $150 for shipping and that 16% import, because we're going to cover the other $150. Sometimes it's a little bit more than $150 that we have to cover, because if you're shipping an L7, 16% of the value of your L7 is going to be more than $300. But it's okay. We have a pretty good deal with the local importers there. They've helped us cut costs, and we're going to help everyone who's working with us also cut costs.
Super. Okay. Yeah, I think that answers the question, and obviously a bit of guerrilla maths there is 150 days. But as you say, that's quite a significant jump over the lifetime of the miner. So, I mean, do you feel there's any inherent risk in terms of shipping the miners to Paraguay? What assurances can we give those that are already buying and hosting with us? I mean, we're clearly obviously doing our due diligence around shipping of miners in general anyway. So what are we doing?
Yes.
In terms of testing the theory.
So, another great question by JT. Man, you should be moderating for the upcoming presidential race. Honestly, your questions are just so to the point.
I think bringing Brit into that conversation is a bit sticky, historically.
Yeah, they'll just take over. They'll just try to plant their own colonialist. It's okay.
Well, that's what we're doing right now, to be honest.
Oh man, I'm always getting shade on these.
That's what happened. We get one Brit into the team, then 3 others infiltrate somehow, and they do it so savvy, and you just don't notice it until they're on top of you. So, anyways, we actually just got off the phone this morning, Stephen and I talking, and Keith talking to the shipping company that will come. They will go to North Carolina. They're going to grab the machines themselves. They're going to shrink wrap them themselves. They're going to put those peanut foam, whatever you call them, between each and every single miner. And then they're going to palletize them, and then they're going to crate them. We're actually paying about 10% more in cost, just so we can make sure that we reduce all possible tension and friction on each and every single miner. It's going to go under full insurance, over $1 million insurance to Miami. The machines are in total worth more than $1 million, but we don't anticipate that the machines are all gonna get screwed in one shipment. Like what usually happens is you have like 5 machines or like 10 machines get damaged when they're not properly packaged. But we're going above and beyond in terms of packaging, and then we're going to have full insurance until they get to Miami, because this is an American company. Once they leave Miami, we're working with the Canadian Paraguayan company. They have it all insured to the total value of these machines. Now, the most important factor in not damaging these machines during shipping, because they're going to go by sea, is one, make sure that they're packaged here in America very well, because we're not going to anticipate they're going to do any repackaging, and we don't want them to. We're also adding seals, humidity seals, because it's going by sea. So we're paying premiums on this packaging to ensure that it's going to be 100% waterproof. So while there's always an inherent risk to damage during shipping, in the case that there is any damage, it's insured. So I wouldn't worry too much about that, unless the ship sinks. But you know, at that point, it's like force majeure most likely, and the insurance will kick in. But let's not think about that. They ship these miners every single day.
So, what is the approximate shipping time of the company given us visibility of that, first and foremost? And in a second part to that question, clearly Paraguay is landlocked. So are they not being shipped to another country, and is there some form of double import tax involved?
No double import tax, but they are shipped to Uruguay. So they go from Miami to Uruguay, and then they're put into trucks, and then they go to Paraguay, where they will be held at customs. They'll be inspected. They'll be valued at double the price they're actually worth, and so so they can make more money at the customs border, and then we'll pay them because we want to be legal and do things right. We're working with an import company that's licensed. We met them when we went to Paraguay. All of it is a pretty established business model. And this is, millions worth of machines have been shipped through this route for the past 3 years, if not more. Paraguay is also pro-crypto now. Its new administration and president are looking for ways to integrate crypto into their economy and incentivize crypto mining. So actually, the timing couldn't have been better.
100%. Just going back a step, Patrick actually has triggered this thought in me. So if a buy and host customer decides that Paraguay maybe is maybe a little bit too risky, or they don't want to pay the shipping, can they elect to keep their miner in North Carolina if they want?
Yeah, of course. So what we're going to do is we're going to reach out to so we've already started reaching out. Most people with a lot of miners, to them it was sort of a no-brainer, and they just said, yeah, ship it. But we're not going to ship anybody's miners unless they want to be shipped. They want them to be shipped.
Understood. And if those devices do get shipped and then they're found to be faulty at the other end, what happens then? Are they shipped back to America to be fixed? So this was Pearl's question, which is a great question. Well done. How would we go about that? I know it's probably a step ahead of how we've thought so far, but it is a good question nonetheless.
Can you repeat that question?
So the box arrives in Paraguay. We unpack it. It's dead on arrival. Does that need to be shipped back to America to be fixed?
Oh, no. So the facility, our facility also has a workshop, and at that workshop we have repair men over there that have been repairing ASICs. I mean, this is a pretty established business we're working with. We're nowhere near their largest client. We're like maybe their 4th largest client right now. We do anticipate to become their largest client. Maybe they do have someone who's like shooting for 25 megawatts. Like they've already built 10 megawatts, so they're ahead of us. But it's a tight race. But they've been repairing ASICs for now, the duration of the time they've been there, so a little over 2 years. So we can locally repair them. There's also a repair shop for ASICs in our immediate vicinity. They repair hash boards, replace hash boards. They repair fans. Anything that's physical, structural, they can do it on site. Anything that is internal, and if the machine is warranted, they'll send it out. So yeah, it doesn't need to ever come back to America. It'll either stay and get fixed there or be sent to China.
Understood. Understood. Good. Okay. Well, look, you teased us a little before around Genesis. I think it's possibly, aside from the when payout, and that's across EMF and Genesis, right? I think that's the most common question that comes in. I think we need a little bot that automatically responds to that. That's one for the list, Maxi, for another time. But obviously, there's been some scaling going on in the background at the very start. There's been some changes to the way that works, and that was something that was on the agenda for this evening. So clearly, we've got something that we want to tell everybody. So Genesis scaling and payouts. What's the latest scoop on that?
So payouts have been delayed until next year, July.
Oh, Joe.
No, no, not that. No, okay, sorry. Yeah. No. I'm sorry. We don't even get to joke about that because it's actually been a reality. So that was a bad joke, Helly. You should have forewarned me. So there's no delay to Genesis payout. We still anticipate June was originally the date. We may have to push it to July. Okay. And that's because if we're moving things, we're going to lose a month. And we don't want to lose that month. So at most, it'll be July, but with 100% certainty. So June is the goal, July with 100% certainty. Now that I've got the bad news out of the way, the good news is in the last 3 months, we've actually, you guys have probably noticed it's been longer than 3 months that we've been updating the scaling percent. It was honestly administratively burdensome, and I didn't feel like it helped because people didn't really know how to translate percent into actual quantifiable measures. I think when we pay out in July, you're going to see that the scaling did make a huge difference. Not as big as we want to because the market's still been pretty bad, but it's made a huge difference compared to, if we paid last year, it wouldn't have made sense at all. So everyone voted for the right solution. Now, we're anticipating almost a 70% boost to the entire Genesis output by July. We're about to double our L7 count. We're going to have twice as many L7s come July, and we're going to have in hash rate, we're going to have about 40% more Bitcoin hash rate come July. And this is in physical installed miners. So remember, I talked about 2 ways that benefit Genesis. One is we reinvest and buy more miners for Genesis, which I had also said back then is not actually the most effective way. It's a lot better to scale sort of by proxy or indirectly. By scaling our business, our hosting business, we are scaling Genesis. That's the best way to do it because it's the least risk for Genesis. It's the least amount of money that has to be channeled away from the Genesis rewards pool. But we have directly scaled the actual physical asset base of the Genesis pool by almost 70 to 100%, I would say. L7's 100%. And about 30%, 30 to 40% for Bitcoin come July. So the reason we were able to do that, now, if you actually think about how much it cost us to get these Genesis miners, like the L7s cost us almost $1 million. We did not spend another $1 million buying L7s to double the number of L7s. We spent like 1/7 of that, maybe even less. Because the market has been so gracious in terms of the cost of these miners, we were able to make each dollar almost work 8 times as much as it did in 2022. So it's actually been, we got screwed in 21 and 22, and now we're really capitalizing on this timing. The timing is just so great. So we're very excited that we can put $1 in and get 8 times its worth.
Joe, do you want to kind of, for the newer people in the community that might not be that might not have been around enough to kind of understand why that's happening. Do you want to kind of quickly go over why we're getting these machines for so much cheaper? I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, but it's. Do you want to kind of explain how we're getting so much more value for less dollars, essentially? And give some examples of how that works on the back end.
So a few. So the way that the equipment. So I'll give you hard examples. We paid about $27,000. Okay, $27,000 per L7 when we bought them. We bought about 37 L7s. So don't do the math, it's pretty depressing. We are about to add 35 L7s for, instead of 27,000, for less than 5,000 an L7. Same thing, and the reason it's that much cheaper is one, the whole market's been down for a long time. So two things will affect the price. The first thing is going to be the current state of the market. So the volatility affects the price a lot. So if it's up and down, these machines will typically not change much. But if it's down, and it's down for a long time, like now it's been over a year and a half, then it starts to factor out the premiums on volatility. It assumes just lower profitability in the long run. So that's one thing. And the second thing, because halvings are coming up, a lot of these machines are becoming cheaper. Except most of the time, all the time, when the halving occurs, the price compensates and the profitability doesn't really drop when you look at it from a macro perspective. L7s are still the best bet to get the highest profitability by mining Litecoin and Dogecoin dual mining. If you actually go to the F2 pool, okay, so just think of this: if you bought an L7 for $10,000 4 months ago, and you were to buy an L7 like today for $5,000, and it halves tomorrow, so the halving happens tomorrow theoretically, the Litecoin is going to halve from about 9 Litecoins per block to 4.5 Litecoins per block. And if you go and look at how that's going to affect the output or the profitability of the L7 that you bought at 5K, it's going to go down from like maybe $18 a day or $17 a day to $14 a day. So you're really only losing like 20% in profitability, even though there's a halving. But you paid less than 50% the price of the machine. So people overreact to the halving because they don't understand how it works. They assume it's a 50% reduction in rewards, which it's not. And then they also assume that it means a 50% reduction in profitability, but it's not. So this is the best time to be buying these machines. The closer we get to the halving, the better it is to buy the machine. People are worried about L9s. L9s, although they're very likely to come out, like with any Bitmain product, they're sitting there and mining with their machines for a good year before they send it out to you. So if they start pre-orders at the end of this year, you're not going to see it until next year. So unless you want to, what's that?
Don't do them dirty like that.
Don't what?
Don't do them dirty like that, exposing their stuff.
Man, I mean, all our new machines are not going to be Bitmain, so we can be dirty. All the Bitcoin machines we're going to be using from now on are WUTS miners. They're way better in terms of temperature regulation. We're buying 120 terahash WUTS miners, but our average hash rate on these machines is 131. So we're getting a 10% boost in profit with no compromise to the efficiency. We're not paying $1 more for it. So you can't do that with an S19. With an S19, God knows what they do to these S19s before they sell it to you, but you try to overclock that S19, you're not immersing it in liquid nitrogen. That thing is just going to start malfunctioning and it's going to die in 6 months.
Wow. Yeah. So you mentioned overclocking there. I mean, is that a distinct possibility with our facility in Paraguay? Is it cost efficient? Because I know we looked at overclocking in a North Carolina facility and it was a no-no. Can you not hear me? Joe, are you there?
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. You guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we good.
Okay, we gotta let's run through some more points.
I was gonna can you hear me, Joe?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you mentioned the word overclocking there. I know it's something that hasn't been cost efficient for us to do in North Carolina. Is that a distinct possibility for us in the Paraguay facility? And what could that potentially mean for the project if we can do that?
So unless you're a buy and host client, overclocking is not an option. If you're hosting with us, then you can choose to overclock. There's some inherent risks to overclocking, so we don't really just overclock for anybody. They have to ask for it. They have to understand. With that 131 terahash is not really overclocking. It's just kind of like auto tuning. If you think of them as two different things, overclocking is like you push the machine's power usage up to try and make it hash more and more. That can burn the circuits. That's really overclocking. When I said 131, I shouldn't have said overclocking. That's more like just putting a machine in its happy place and it's overperforming at baseline.
Understood. Yeah, because when miners ship, they have the build gigahash. That's not necessarily the case, is it? There is a variance up and down. You actually get machines that can be sometimes less than the advertised value. Right. So it evens out, doesn't it? So for a collection like EMF, as an example, we can pretty much go with the advertised figure because it averages out over the number of machines we have. Cool. So that was Genesis. Is there anything else that we want to cover off on Genesis before we move on to probably the other long-awaited subject of EMF2? But is there anything else on Genesis that we want to cover?
Yeah, we do. Yes. So I'm assuming you guys still hear me.
Yep.
I don't know why I'm struggling. Okay. So for Genesis, two things to keep in mind. One, in order to be eligible for payout in June or July, we're going 2 weeks before the payout is scheduled. And you guys will know a month in advance when the payout is scheduled. 2 months before you can claim your rewards, you have to sign up on our website, the new website on ALTERI. You have to verify your wallet. And that way you're eligible for the June rewards claim, June-July rewards claim. You have 2 weeks. If you don't do it, it's fine, but you just won't be able to claim for that cycle. You would. We anticipate that there are some inactive wallets, so we are not going to be sending a bunch of rewards that are just going to sit there and potentially never be claimed. We already see that there's a lot of inactive wallets for a long time, but we also don't want to assume that these are not real people who are just busy. So you can come back at any time in the future, 6 months, whatever, and become eligible again. You just have to show that you have access to that wallet by verifying on ALTERI. So that's going to be a hard requirement to be eligible for the rewards pool in July and moving forward. So that's it. The website's not ready yet. It's, I'd say, maybe 60% completed. So it will be ready by the time the rewards will be going out. And it's going to be a much nicer website, much nicer dashboard. You have Helly and JT, who both have spent a lot of time in Llamaverse, and they had a nice dashboard. So if they approve of the dashboard, I'm sure everybody else approves of the dashboard. And they've been working closely with the dev team.
Yeah. Joe, I just wanted to jump in real quick because I was going to mention it anyway, but it came up as a question as well. It was, what are we going to do with that leftover capital? Is that going to be dust? And I think you and I discussed that briefly. And I think we're not going to confirm 100% yet what will happen with those funds. But I think it's safe to say that they will likely be reinvested into the general pool after some period of time. So if you don't claim, yeah, go on, Joe.
I was just gonna say, I mean, there's only two options. One is it gets reinvested into Genesis miners. Two, it gets reallocated to active wallets. We don't know which one it's gonna be. It might be a mix of both, but we'll see.
Yeah. Again, we will look at the numbers because obviously we're going on some speculation. Once we see kind of the turnout of wallets, we'll be able to kind of calculate the amount and then figure out the best way forward. But I think honestly, potentially a mix of both would be the best. That's my personal opinion as a holder and as a part of the team. But we can look into that for sure. But yeah, Nanemo, there will likely be a period of time that those funds are locked in. So it will be probably like 2 to 3 months before we release them. So yeah. Again, because if people kind of miss it out by a week or two, that'll suck for them to lose. But again, if they come back after 5 months, they're eligible again to claim, which means that the pool has grown and they're not forever locked out, if that makes sense. But yeah, we'll look into that more once we have more data. We'll listen to the community as well. We can do an AMA or kind of some feedback forms on that. So yeah.
Great question that's come in here from Dingus. Will the Genesis collection get unstaked in the future at some point?
That's the plan. I would not say unstake it, but the plan is to make Genesis stakeless, because all our future collections will not be staked.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense for us to do that, I would say. Good. Okay. Any more on Genesis? Any more questions? You know, do keep them coming in the chit chat. But there is another subject I think that people have been waiting on. Oh, did somebody need to say something?
Yeah, there's on Genesis the boosts. People.
Oh, the boosts. Yeah. Joe and I had a quick chat about that today as well. We are going to look at those and implement those likely on second cycle of payout of Genesis.
Yeah. Are we looking for some way to kind of flatten those out just to make the whole thing a lot easier? You know, like an overall kind of multiplier.
It might become a bit hectic, yeah. So we'll look into it.
Okay.
Yeah, the short answer is we're going to consolidate the boosts. We're going to factor them into the rewards. Some of the boosts, so the staked time is going to be a one-time factor. So say, for example, your NFT is supposed to get paid like $7 on average. But let's say that your relative stake time compared to the average is, 1.5 times higher. You would get 7 times 1.5 for that NFT. So you'd be looking at, 10.5 and that's only going to be a one-time thing. Because the stake time is only factored in per cycle. So we are going to take retroactively the last 2 years of stake time, right? And we're going to use that as a benchmark for relative staking time for this one cycle, the first cycle. Now, there are other boosts involved, like the hand boosts. Those are boosts that were determined based on when you staked. So if you staked before 2022, you had like a diamond boost. If you staked before a certain deadline in 2022, you had like a different type of hand boost. So I don't remember, it was maybe 15 or 20, 15, 10, and 5%, something like that. Anyways, the long story short is those boosts are going to be consolidated into the metadata. So you're going to have like a permanent parameter that shows that your NFT has this boost attached to it. And then from that point forward, there are no longer any hand boosts and no longer any of those extra boosts from like the previous stake time. Everything will refresh each cycle. Hand boosts won't even be part of the equation anymore, just going to be attached to the NFT.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice, nice, cool. Well,
All right.
the next item on the agenda is one that has been eagerly awaited. So, EMF2.
Okay.
Let's go.
Joe, you want to do this one or should I get this one?
Well, given the fact that he's on mute.
You got it.
Okay. Yeah. So again, guys, EMF1 has been a success. We are approaching our third cycle, right? Yes, which will be in 2 days' time. So obviously we've paid out already up to $50-something thousand, which is great. So obviously questions have arisen. When is the next EMF? Or should I buy Genesis? Should I buy EMF1 off the floor? Should I wait? So I can now tell you that you should probably wait if you want to accumulate more, because EMF2 is coming in the very, very near future. We are aiming for a mint of mid to late June. So 2 to 3 weeks, maybe very, very end of June, depending on how things go. But yeah, so essentially that will be your new, I guess, entry on the new prices of miners, which could end up being a better return, depending on how things go with halving and all these things. So there's many factors to consider, but we are making some key changes to the next collection of EMF. So the art of the collection will no longer be PFP art, that like we're used to, which is what you can see most of us have on the stage and most of us have in the spaces. On a stage. It will now be a more simplified art, which I can.
Do you want to share your screen, Heli?
Do I want to share my screen, JT? Yeah, okay.
Oh, I don't know what else you've got up on there, mate. So I know you like your feet pictures.
That was the joke. Yeah, that was the joke. Let me find it. I'll share screen. Fuck it. Yeah, why not? No, I was just considering if I should show some of the art ideas. Let me just actually open up.
You'll notice that we're not sharing anything yet in the Discord, so this really is a bit of an exclusive for you guys. Obviously, those of you watching the recording.
If the art comes out different and some of you comes to me and say, why is that different? I'm just going to ignore you. So,
but we do want to share the goodness. We do want to share the goodness. So, Heli, while you're doing that, mate. So I guess the first question from everybody is going to be the $10 million question. Have we got a mint price? And what's that going to be if we have?
Yeah. I've got it up, but I'll answer those questions before we show stuff. Yeah, so we thought that $125 per mint is a bit low. So it's like just double it. Does that change anything on how much you're purchasing of a machine? Well, yes, it just doubles it. So you're not getting, there's no difference. It's just slightly more money. And what we did see, and so the reason why I'm telling you this is what we did see is a lot of people minted like in big multiples. So majority of wallets have 10 plus NFTs. I'm not sharing screen yet, guys. Give me a second. I'm not sharing screen yet. But yeah, so we decided to go with $250 a mint. And just because it works better in multiples. So it doesn't really change anything for anyone because very, 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 very few people minted like 1, 2, 3, or 4. Majority minted like 10 plus, which makes sense because that's what makes sense in these kind of investments. So yeah, that's the mint price. It's going to be whatever $250 comes out to at the time of mint. So right now it's 250 is 0.13 on a dot. So yeah, should be around 0.13, which is again for our project, it's all proportionate. Were there any other questions on EMF2?
Supply.
Before.
Pretty important.
Supply, yeah. Again, we supply the beauty of our project and what we have here is there's literally a like if we want to mint for $10 million and we pull off that mint, for example, we can facilitate that. But if we only mint out 100K, $100K, again, we can facilitate that. We are not a random bullshit PFP that is promising you the world and something dumb in the future. We have actual backing and actual machines in the background and facilities. So the price of the mint supply and price doesn't really matter that much. We are going based off EMF1, so we're going to do a similar amount of dollar raise, which is around $1 million. So if you guys are new, we raised around $945,000 on EMF1. That was with some bigger individual whales like myself who minted large proportions. We had some DAOs and projects mint as well for their treasuries. So like big gaps got covered quickly. That being said, we are going for another $1 million, so it would be essentially 4,000 supply maximum. If for some reason on the first 25 minutes we mint half the collection out, we can just extend it, and we are ready to extend it. So it's all very proportionate, and it doesn't really affect anyone. If whatever the price ends up being, everyone will have the same. Well, the only people that affects is Genesis. So the more there is there, the better.
Yeah,
so yeah, there is someone that's asking. Sorry.
I was going to say, because let's be honest, the EMF1 didn't exactly go to plan. We allocated a certain amount for the pre-sale, and we had to extend it twice, and sadly no one got anything from public last time because we ran out of room. But one of the questions has come in actually in the other AMA texts, Ellie, so asking where will the collection be hosted?
We will look and aim to host it in Paraguay. Okay, I'm just gonna. There's someone that's quite confused in the chat on how our project is structured, so I'll just kind of cover their concerns. So there's someone, Happy Trails. I'll just I'll just call up to see a question. What about peeps that minted? This is his question. Minted back in the day. You made a new version, started paying out monthly to them. Do you get back an earning contribution to further your empire? Good choice of words. It is an empire indeed. Yeah, so again, how we started and how we got here is a long story. We can discuss it at length. For long story short, we have different pools, and each of those pools is represented by different projects. I'm not sure when you joined the space of the AMA because Joe kind of went over it early, so I'm not going to repeat again in length. But EMF1 is its own set of machines. Genesis is its own set of machines. Genesis will pay out next month or the month after, and Genesis will scale from every single other machine. That means that everything that is being paid out now, part of it grows the Genesis collection. So the patience of the Genesis collection only increases its value. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully that answers the question. If not, feel free to DM me or ask now. So yeah, I'll kind of carry on what I was going for. How long after mint is complete will EMF2 start mining? Because of
Yeah, hey, sorry to interrupt. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, just a 5-minute warning. I have to hop onto a meeting in 5 minutes. So if we want to start answering questions, and you guys can continue with the agenda items that we didn't cover.
Yeah, we're good to go. I think the really important part there was the Paraguay expansion, the new clients, and the Genesis scaling. I think EMF2, we got that covered. New website, we've been pretty entrenched. We can handle probably the rest of it if you need to bounce.
Okay.
You going, Helly?
Joe, did you want? Okay, I'll go on. Yeah. So, sorry, I was just reading a question. How long after mint will EMF2 start mining? Again, as Joe mentioned, it is in Paraguay, which means it will be longer shipping. So, correct me if I'm wrong, it would be around 6, 7, 8 weeks, right? If I'm not mistaken, Joe, JT.
8 weeks. We were estimating the first shipment. That first shipment that Joe was talking about, the insured shipment, that will give us a realistic indication of how long it will take for EMF.
Gotcha.
Because obviously,
it should be It should be 4 to 6 weeks. That's the turnaround.
Okay, even better. But yeah. So it will be. It could be slightly delayed, but it should be similar time to what we kind of achieved in the first one. So yeah. Let's see the other ones. You have a question? Sorry, guys.
There's a good. There's a question there. Look, I know it's moving away from the EMF topic, but given that Joe is disappearing, the question said, what are you going to do with the GPUs? So, Joe, do you want to answer that before you disappear off?
Yeah. So we had one good candidate we were looking at, which was Caspa. Problem is now Bitmain screwed that over, just like they screwed Kadena by creating ASICs for Caspa. So if you guys have seen, they're alleging that these Caspa ASICs are going to be generating 2,000 or I don't know, 10,000, some insane profit per day, like 2,500, something crazy. We've lived now long enough to see that that's bullshit. They did it with Kadena. A miner was supposed to make $150 a day. The Kadena price of be something. It does not making a tenth of that. So the same thing is going to happen with Caspa. They're going to oversaturate, and Caspa is going to be worse because it's even younger than Kadena. So we don't think the liquidity is going to be able to support the ASICs as well as Kadena did, and Kadena didn't even support the ASICs at all. So that being said, Caspa is probably not going to be profitable to mine with GPUs now that ASICs have come out. We were looking at Caspa. So the short answer is we're looking for a coin to mine, and right now there just isn't anything good. When we did the calculation before the ASICs came out, it was like, moving 700 GPUs, paying 40,000 in costs to put them back in rigs, to set them up on shelves, to ship them, to do all that stuff, so that we can make like $100 a day or 150, something like that, and not in profit, in revenue. So the profit would be even less than that. So it wasn't feasible. And this is what we expect with GPU mining in a bear market. So in a bear market,
Joe, you're cutting out. Joe.
Rug. Again.
We lost him. Yeah.
You know what? And he's delivering the finest speech he's ever delivered, and no one heard it.
Getting
Joe?
It's what they say, if a tree falls in the middle of a forest and no one saw it, did it happen?
No, who the fuck says that?
Well, no one heard it.
That's a niche thing to say.
The bottom line is, until there is a coin that we can mine profitably with those cards, we're going to hang on to them until market conditions significantly improve. We're constantly looking, because obviously they're at the moment they're an asset that's doing the square root of sod all. Obviously that's not good. They're a depreciating asset over time. If there is, of course, an opportunity to resell, that will be considered. But in all honesty, we can see these cards doing a turnaround when the market picks up again. Shitcoin season will actually become altcoin season. And there may be something that is viable. But at the moment, it's things appear that they disappear. We need something that's consistent. And right now, there isn't anything. So that's the skinny. So talking of actual mining, Heli, we've covered off the collection. We've covered where it's been hosted, the size, the price. I guess the $10 million question is: so what are we going to be mining with this collection?
Yeah. So again, obviously, there's a good choice. And a choice that we've already made before, which is just mine Litecoin and Dogecoin alongside it. But now that we're looking at cheaper prices, more efficient machines on Bitcoin side of things, and better electricity rates in Paraguay, we are likely going to allow people to have a choice. So again, not confirmed yet, but we are looking at potentially doing a thing where, you know, half of EMF2 could be mining Doge as a Doge and Litecoin, and then half it could be mining Bitcoin, and then each NFT will have metadata representing what it mines. So we give you guys the choice even more. Again, that might end up being a headache in terms of development, but it shouldn't be. I don't see. I already have a kind of formulated a plan of how to do it. I am meeting our developer tomorrow, but again, it shouldn't be an issue. It might just be a bit more hassle on our side, but we'll just kind of live with that. And that's okay. But yeah. So it could end up being paying out Doge, Litecoin, and Bitcoin at the same time, all in one go.
So if we were going to go down that route, how would we implement it? Would it potentially be a trait for the NFT or NFTs?
Yeah. So when I show you the art, I will kind of give a hint of what that could look like. But right now, it just kind of spitballing, it would be just a trait that's extremely obvious as to what it mines. Therefore, there's no confusion on the secondary market. There's no confusion in the holder's wallet. There's no confusion to anyone, pretty much. Yeah. So again, it would be a choice. That means that the returns and the payouts and everything like that is potentially going to be different for different people. So it wouldn't be as clear as, hey, I have 100 EMF2, I'm getting this much every payout. It will be more like, hey, I have 150 EMF2, but 75 with Bitcoin, 75 with Dogecoin, Litecoin.
So what we'll do, guys, is we'll effectively present you the case for both. If we go ahead with this, we'll present the case for both, and then you make the decision as to what your risk profile is. Sensible traders, and I'm sure Nanaimo is going to be up on stage at some point, will tell you is to hedge your bets, right? You should have a varied risk profile across your investment portfolio, and this gives you the perfect opportunity to do that. If this is the route that, if we work out that this is absolutely doable, but this is the road that we're going down at the moment. But yeah, I mean, Heli, this does represent the question that let's just say I did want to go down that route. I want 75 of each. I would probably have to mint twice, wouldn't I?
Again, that's a conversation with the developer. But yes, potentially, probably will make our life easier. That being said, this is another good opportunity for us to increase the mint price. Therefore, you get less NFTs for more money. But again, everything on the back end is the same. So yeah, it could end up being a few different things on options. But we'll see. Again, don't want to promise anything because people in the space do love a promise, and that
I do.
They want.
So I did just for fun the other day. I actually went and calculated the average wallet size. Now I know that that's a little bit distorted because we've got some big whales in here. But yeah, it was 21.4 EMFs per wallet, which kind of says that maybe the price was a bit on the low side. But of course, we were looking. This was a new concept. We hadn't paid anybody before. We're reaching out to new communities who'd never heard of us. You know, they're coming in. Obviously, there's a lot of great news around Genesis. There's a lot of people who are bullish long term, but no payments have been made. We don't have that issue now. So by the time that we release this next project, you know, we could be another 3 payments in. And I think, you know, that's confidence for everybody here and for new people that are coming in. I mean, and you guys, I've got to say, do an absolutely tremendous job of making people feel welcome. And maybe the people who are invested and have got a Genesis from a long time ago and haven't been here for 2 years, maybe not quite so welcome. But because they come in with the same questions. But ultimately, like, you guys have been such a strong advocate for us, you know, and we're proud of you guys as a community. You've done such a tremendous job. And as we begin the outreach to new communities, I know that you'll extend that welcome with open arms for people coming in, despite the fact that you probably don't want them to buy too many because you'll be wanting to buy more yourself. But that's a conversation for another day.
Leading into another topic, I'll just go ahead and
that's where I was going.
Oh, you obviously just avoided it, but I'll just go in anyway. You gracefully avoided it, but we are going to implement a referral scheme. So if you guys have some friends or projects that you're part of or anything like that, and you bring them the opportunity to mint, and they do mint, we want to reward you guys with that. And that will be in the form of basically EMF. I was going to say airdrops. So obviously it will be balanced, and it won't be just giving out.
So
NFTs
we're going to release some details on that, aren't we? Because I think there is going to be a minimum threshold. We've got numbers to play with in the background, but the ask, I guess, from us on the leadership team. We know a lot of you are members in multiple communities. We had some great referrals last time. Sorry, Helly, I don't know if you rugged there, but you suddenly disappeared and reappeared, mate.
I'm here.
Sorry, did you need to jump in there, mate?
No, it was just being weird. I was just listening.
Okay, fair enough. So look, if you've got communities that you think would be interested, ones that maybe even want to do an AMA with us, more than happy if you want to kind of just drop Helly and I a DM or raise a ticket in the Discord. We can get a GC organized. I'm looking at Mez in the audience at the minute. Mez was one that kind of the conversation came together with the team over at Mighty Labs as an example. We also got the likes of Warrior Mama through from the LandSafe community. We had Nanamo in from his Trader Punks community, and then also as a result of that, we had other team members from Dowdon. With some fantastic communities that came on board, and we love to talk to more. And we know that you guys are in a ton of decent Discord communities. So if you think that there is the potential for a conversation there, we would love to have it. We don't go far and wide deliberately, but we want to be talking to good, strong, quality communities that maybe feel that they could benefit. And the conversation's a pretty easy one. I mean, Helly and I have been, doing the Web3 outreach, on the buy and host side of things. And Mez, I just saw that. Yeah, donations to Mez.eth for his efforts. Well, Mighty Labs, I'm sure, can dip their hands in their pockets and kind of buy some for the DAO. That's the next step, isn't it, mate? So if you can make that happen, maybe there is a donation coming your way. But yeah, if you know a community that could be interested, I said either raise a ticket or drop Helly or I a DM. We'd be more than happy to pick up the conversation, start a GC, because the next 3 to 4 weeks is going to be critical. We want to be, I said, speaking to good quality communities. So the option is there, and plus the fact we're doing a lot more social now. I see Eloise is in the audience. I don't know, Eloise, if you want to stick your hand up and come up on stage and have a little chit chat with us all. Eloise has been beavering around in the background, doing our Twitter. We've been obviously looking at other mediums as well, some new guides. There's a lot of good stuff coming, guys, and stuff that will make the conversation a hell of a lot easier. So there's a lot. I said there is a lot that we're working on right now. Okay, so EMF project goes live, and people are going to want to see what's going on. So that kind of segues nicely into the next section, Helly, which is around the new website.
Sorry. I missed one bit. There will.
Did you?
Yes, there's always more. Well, we never showed art, but there's another piece I missed as well. We will also be doing a bulk discount. So if you buy over a certain amount of NFTs, again, I'm not going to confirm how many, we are going to give a slight bulk discount, which is similar to what we did in V3, I believe. There was a bulk discount on those. So yeah, again, we're going to drop an interest form for that. So if I know I have had many DMs of people saying they want to buy a good amount of NFTs coming up. So we'll be able to give those guys an advantage in essentially securing a cheaper mint on average. It won't be a huge amount, but it will be nice. You know, it's just a nice thing to have. Trying to think of what else I was trying to say.
Why don't you have you found the artwork? Are you going to be able to show your screen, mate? Because it really would be good to see that. So give everybody a flavour of what's coming.
Yeah. Listen, it's a test. It's not final at all. The artist did this in like 3 hours, so don't start memeing about it. I just said it, and they're gonna start memeing now. But
the best memeing was for the original dashboard. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'll speak about it in a second as well. You can see my screen, I assume. Help.
I can. Can everybody else see Heli's screen? Just give us a little thumbs up in the chat.
Everything should be good.
Yep, it looks that way, mate.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that's not great.
Is it not good?
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, so this is a very rough sketch. But we're leaning into the whole kind of digital receipt situation as a bit of a topic to have. So yeah, this is what it kind of looks like. We obviously there's a few options, but there will be there will be a lot of content on these receipts that kind of have Easter eggs and different contents like whatever you're mining. Obviously EMF3, it could be EMF L for Litecoin or EMFB, and then we could look into having people's names on some of them, stuff like that. So we're looking into a lot of this sort of deal.
Please ignore the green squid for the record. The green squid was just an illustration because he hasn't had our logo yet.
Yeah, the art is just tripping on a thingy. But yeah, so this is what it's gonna look like. We can like have the order number can be the NFT number itself, the ID. And a lot of these things. So I was speaking to this artist a lot, as you can see. Like there's a lot of conversations happening all the time, and there's a lot of kind of things in work. So again, we're gonna go over that, and the QR codes are gonna go to the dashboard. So that's a perfect kind of lead up to it.
I was gonna tease people there, but yeah, dashboard most likely.
Well, it's kind of obvious. It's kind of obvious it's gonna go.
Midget porn website.
Rocket to Mars theme.
Storm Spike was there with the what's going on with the other what's going on with the other tab?
Which other tab?
There, look, he's gonna check.
No, there's bro. It's me signing documents in my emails, and this one is JT's WhatsApp. You know.
Oh, love it. Oh, Pachetto's come in with a great question.
I'm not going to comment.
Ordinals? Ordinals. They seem to be a bit of a thing at the minute. Are there any plans for Enigma to enter into the foray of Bitcoin and Satoshis?
Maybe. Were there any questions about the art or anyone want to shit on it?
No one, not one meme.
No one say shit about it. Okay, someone likes it. There we go. That's all I need. No one else say shit. That's all I need. Thank you.
Markoji, what do you mean, mate? You've asked me about North Carolina, and I'm scratching my head, mate. In what context, mate? Can you let me know?
Well, while he types that out, I'm just gonna jump in saying, the reason why we went for the receipts for the EMFs is essentially to bring costs down. Alongside a different reason, but the first reason I'll talk to you is obviously the cost. Doing something like that is very cost efficient, and we can generate a big amount of those quickly, compared to what we have with EMF1, which took months and a lot of hard work, and hard work that is all down hand, where we can kind of do it way quicker with the receipts. So that way, everyone will realistically have the same amount of art, but they really won't affect you guys, because I have a bajillion EMF1s and I have not looked at them once. I promise you, and I bet most of you don't sit around looking at them. So it doesn't really matter for any investor for any minter or anything like that. It just doesn't matter. So we're going for the simpler ones. The second reason is we are doing, as Joe mentioned, what JT and I have developed is a white labeling solution for any project. So for any project that wants to come in. So if any project, like let's say Sappy Seals, for some reason wants to start doing mining, they can do our receipts or they can do their own art, but we can offer them the receipts ourselves. So yeah, I mean, that essentially enables quick printing of projects if need be. EMF is also changing how it's going to be formulated. So if we suddenly get, 10 people wanted to put down 10K each, like in between EMFs, and they're really keen on buying machines, we can generate them special receipts for their special mini collection. So if everyone here, like 54 of us, want to have a collection of $2,000 each, we can get 100K collected, make an EMF, and then each one of us can have their own independent receipt. And if anyone who's a new holder or comes in later wants an Enigma PFP, well, there's 8,444 for you to scoop up on the floor for not much more than a mint. So yeah, anyway, that should be that with the art. Any other questions?
Yeah, I've actually got one. If you remember, so way back, one of the things that Joe mentioned when it came to buy and host was actually the potential in the future of actually being able to fractionalize your own machine with NFTs. Could this also be potentially a utility that we build for exactly that, this simple artwork?
Exactly. Simple is nice and easy. Like once this is done, like for example, I'll tell you kind of what I'm doing to make this like work even better is I am not going to work with the artist to make the EMF 2 art. I'm going to work with him to make EMF 2, 3, and potentially 4's art in one go. Meaning we're going to separate these receipts into 3 different sets, and each one will have enough to make a unique collection of 3,000 to 4,000. And then we'll just have them easy to print. That again is cost efficient, meaning we spend less money on this and more money on machines or whatever. And it's on the go and it's ready. So at any time we can react and we never slow down. So yeah.
So there's been a fair few questions. There's been a fair few questions about the dashboard, hasn't there? So clearly, this is a really important part of the project. People actually being able to see what they're mining. I mean, don't get me wrong; it's a lovely surprise every 2 weeks getting that money in the wallet. But what are the plans for dashboard, mate?
So, guys, it sounds like JT's asking me these questions and have all the answers. In reality, JT is just doing it for your sake, but we are both working on many of these things together. So let's not remove any credit from him. But the dashboard itself is something that JT and I have worked on with a third party, which is developing it for us. It is quite in depth, so it's gonna have many things, including the ability to see your hash rate, your specific hash rate from each of the collections. So if you purchase EMFs, EMF1 and EMF2, you will be able to see how much each of those represent in terms of hash rate. So if you have 100 EMF1 and 100 EMF2, it will be broken down into 2 sections, but it will show you the total hash rate that you have. If you also have a buy and host machine at the same time, we will also put that onto your account, meaning you as an individual will see how much hash rate you have across the whole ecosystem. And if we, from that point on, generate a new collection with a third party, so let's say Steady Stacks, who is thinking of doing this, potentially, they launch a specific small collection, or we launch a collection with another third party, which we're already doing, by the way, but we're not going to leak anything until it happens. We will add those as well. So by the end, we will have the ability to have you guys visualize potentially every single collection that is under ALTERI hosting or owned by ALTERI or Enigma. That being said, like it will become a all-in-one solution. At the same time, we will also allow you guys to purchase hash rate directly from the website. So what does that mean? That means if you don't want to buy NFTs or you're in between NFTs, obviously there's advantages and disadvantages to this. You can buy like 5, 10, 15, 20% of a miner that we host for you. So that will also be reflected on the dashboard. So the dashboard will have basically a billion things on it. So yeah, it's a no, there won't be a secondary market for hash. Guys, listen, there won't be like you gotta realize that this is there's many ways that Enigma and ALTERI grow, and they have to all be efficient. So us offering as much option to purchase machines and deploy these machines is how ALTERI and Genesis and everything grows bigger and better. Because if you think about it, if we're hosting EMFs at our Paraguay site and we suddenly secure a gajillion dollars to purchase more infrastructure, more things, economies of scale comes in and makes everything cheaper for everyone. So the more that we can sell, the better. And that's how we offer all these opportunities and these different kind of ideas into play. And we want to directly benefit you guys through the opportunity, and indirectly benefit you for the scaling as well on the back end and the economies of scale. So yeah, we'll see. We will see how that goes. Dashboard again is with our developers. JT, Eloise, and I had a 2 hours and 20-minute call like a couple of days ago with them to describe all of these ideas, backends, all of these things. I could leak should I leak a part of it?
Mate, you doing a llama on me?
Oh? No, I am. I've turned against what I sought from.
You used to be the voice of reason and sensibility, and you leave that behind you, and now you've turned into the person who's giving away secrets. I mean, seriously, man.
It's all good. We'll live. I'll drop it. Fuck it. Why not?
Yeah.
Do I wanna? Okay, I'm not gonna leak it because I don't wanna screen share because the group chat has people's phone numbers and stuff. And I don't want to post it because then it's
screenshot and put it in preview. Screenshot it and stick it in Paint. Takes 2 minutes, man.
I did it. It's okay, JT, man. Come on, bro. Okay, sure. Let me know if you can see. Leak what the chain that it will be on. It will be on ETH initially. We'll look into more stuff later. So the guys, you're gonna realize that doing something like this on this scale is difficult. So we're gonna do in stages. So we're gonna have a new ALTERI website for the buy and host and all these things. We're also gonna have a dashboard attached to the website. So it's a 2-in-1 deal. It's not like a easy thing. So this is what it looks like. And this is what it could look like on a purchasing of machine side of things. Very simple.
No, we're not seeing. We're seeing a Discord screen, dude.
Oh, sorry.
You sharing your Discord window?
Yeah, I'm just sharing a specific window rather than a whole screen. Okay, can you see now?
Right, we've still got Discord.
Nope. Same thing.
No, but you can see me moving, right?
Yeah. Now we can. You're moving. We've still got mainly Discord to move it over. There we go.
Idea will be so you can look into buy hash rate or categories. You can have a full view, buy now, how much hash rate. So for example, you're looking at buying in this example, and this is not final. Again, none of this is final. You're looking at buying 20% of a machine. And these will be different machines. Obviously, these are placeholders, and then you'll be able to do a quick view. You can just click, and then this would come up. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. Categories in the bottom. That's what I'm going to show. So yeah, but there's a lot more complexity to it. A lot more statistics and information. We will in the future, as mentioned, have a solution to claiming, solution to deferring payments, to buying future collections, a lot of things, right? But again, it needs time. The first dashboard was done appallingly bad. I agree. I think it's shit. I told Joe it's shit when it launched, and I was just a holder. Now I'm part of the team, and I still think it's shit. So we need to do this one better. And again, what I'm describing right now might not be what it is initially, but we'll get it there with time because we are doing a lot of things in one go, which is, how things are done. But they just take more time.
And for the record, guys, this does cover the dashboard will be not just EMF1 2, it will also be the buy and host side of things. Enigma has its inherent complexities, which, if you were listening in earlier, once we flatten out all of the boosts and the time it's been held, make things a hell of a lot easier for us. So yeah, as you can see, there is a hell of a lot going on. On the new website, there's very little that we can share at this point, but Hilly and I have been on a hell of a lot of conversations with the agency we're working with.
Yeah.
Really impressed with their work ethic. Very receptive to feedback, and we've had to teach them, I think, pretty much everything about crypto mining, haven't we, Hilly?
Yeah, that was the 2-hour conversation. It was literally just explaining to them how everything works, and then explaining to them how we want everything to look. So it makes sense for you guys, and it makes sense for us as a service provider.
Or Eloise, I said to her, "Yeah, quite, come and jump on. We're going to have a quick call with the web agency." And 2.5 hours later, she was still on.
I was just having introduced herself and just observing. But no, it was good. It was good for Eloise to get a closer view into what and how we want to do things, and have her say. We then also got it on a second call after for her to ask some questions about Genesis, so she can produce some content around it, which took a couple of hours as well because I kept explaining different things and so many convoluted things. But yeah, it's good. It's good. It's all good developments, and now that there's not only two people on the team full time working on this. There's more. Obviously, JT and I and Eloise have joined. Maxi is doing a lot of good work as well. Obviously, all the mods day to day. So there's a lot more people in this operation that makes everything about it smoother and quicker. So yeah, good stuff happening for sure. And the biggest and most important thing is we paid out, which is good, and we're scheduled to pay out again and again and again. And then future EMFs, and it just gets bigger and better, honestly, guys. And everyone's
it's also buy and host payment this week as well. Love it.
Well, isn't it always?
It's so they always come together. They're just like buses.
The Genesis will still stay on the old website, right? Or will that be on ALTERI as well?
Sorry?
The Genesis is going to stay for now. The Genesis will stay for now. And then
on the old dashboard. Yeah.
Okay.
If anything, we're just going to do a wallet check on a different website. But again, it will be a while.
Okay.
So yeah.
Storm Spike asked, have we thought about moving payments to the 1st and the 15th instead of every 2 weeks? That's a question probably for Joe.
Month start payment. That's a what is it now? Isn't it month?
We pay every 2 weeks. I think it's going to remain that way. It's a 2 weeks, a 14-day cycle.
Yeah, it just becomes more convoluted in that case.
So the last item on the agenda, Ellie, is actually quite a cryptic one. Near future directions.
I just leaked the, so I think we covered that one pretty well.
Yeah, we did. So look, we've kept you guys on now for it's like an hour and a half, and we've spoken at you. Obviously, we've been keeping an eye on the chat box for questions that are coming in, but we know some of you love coming up and saying stuff. So you're more than welcome to put your hand up, come up and ask us questions if you want to. The Namo trader is normally the first one up here, but he's rugged from the space where he's had to disappear off. But yeah, we'd like to ask if any of you would like to come up and ask a question. Please raise your hand and we will bring you up on stage. No pressure. But
Be cowards, guys. Come on.
I think it's pretty damn exciting what's going on here. I mean, the story around Paraguay is a really strong one. I mean, the country itself. So I think it's one of the third largest hydroelectric dam in the world. They built it in collaboration with the Brazilian government, and they have been selling to Brazil for 1 cent per kilowatt hour as part of the agreement to pay off what the Brazilian government contributed. But they're really, really keen to have businesses come in and help them stabilize their grid, invest in the local economy. Obviously, there's the opportunity for us to work, with the local educational establishments as well, bringing in expertise. It's very, very positive, and we're obviously they're receptive to investment coming in from outside. But the new president that was elected, I think it was 4 weeks ago now, used to be the ex-finance minister, and was obviously keeping a very watchful eye on what El Salvador are up to with Bitcoin. Now, I don't think this is the route they're going down. I think, as of all the South American countries, I think Paraguay's currency is maybe a little bit more stable than their neighbours, certainly in Argentina. We did look at Argentina briefly. Some horror stories coming from there.
It's a bit of a sticker one there.
Yeah. There was a story I saw, a mining operation, and government officials turned up with armed guards, and they actually replaced the electricity meters situated in the mine. So they weren't getting their 2 cents per kilowatt hour any longer. They're paying a lot more than that. Also, equipment being seized on import because they've not paid the right people. We've seen none of this. I mean, there's been so much. I mean, you wouldn't believe the due diligence that Joe and Stephen have gone through on this. They literally have gone through every single minute detail, which is why we've been so slow to give you guys this final information in terms of where the next location is. And there were times we thought it may not happen. And of course, we don't want to be leaking information to you guys if we're not confident. And obviously now we are. I can still see typing. Well, look, if any of you guys don't have any questions, we'll look at wrapping this up very shortly. Helly, is there anything else that you think we need to cover off before we?
Oh, I think I got my fill in.
Oh, you definitely did, mate. This is going to be a good recording for people to, who missed it. There's a hell of a lot of information in here.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real point holding things back. So it should be a good one.
You are holding things back. I thought we're leaking some more.
What do you want?
I don't know. It starts with D.
I mean, Helly, we could. Do you want to? Mind you, pictures don't really mean an awful lot, do they? I was going to say we could have sent a picture of what the facility looks like. Something we could leak in the chat.
I don't know what you guys are going on about, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not an Enigma thing, I guess, but starts out of Enigma.
Yeah, the pictures weren't very exciting. Once you've seen the inside, I think when you've seen the inside of a data center, I think you've seen them all. To be quite honest with you, but yeah, it's very, very real, and it's actually very, very exciting. I'm just taking a look. But it's a shame Eloise had to drop off. We could have got her up and got her to talk about maybe some of the things that she's working on at the moment. Be nice to actually have me not needing to message you at some ungodly hour, Maxi, to ask if you can put a tweet out and me feel really guilty for sending the message. So Eloise will be able to handle that. But yeah, we're going to be doing the Twitter Spaces run once all the details are locked in and we've got a definite date. We will start doing the spaces runs, we'll do our own spaces. And we will be doing spaces with a number of pre-launch partners, much like we did last time. But yeah, we are seeking out some new partners. Some of those that we spoke to last time, it worked incredibly well. There were others that were just, it felt like root canal surgery working with them, despite the fact we got some of their holders on board. So, I reiterate the ask that if you are in a project right now and you think that there is potentially some benefit for them looking at mining, we would absolutely love to talk to them. Heli, do you want to take Rich's question? I think he might have missed that earlier.
No, I don't want to. I'm checking out. Let me check it. Can you help me understand? Audience miners moving to Paraguay. Potentially the Bitcoin miners, yeah. The L7s will likely stay because they're just not. There's not as much cost saving. Because again, Bitcoin miners electricity rates affects them way more compared to L7s, which are less electricity intensive. So yeah, we'll see. We'll give everyone a breakdown as we usually do on what's happening and what and why when it comes. But for now, we'll just be looking to deploy partially. Well, yeah, exactly. Well, you can't do both. That's why Joe mentioned we might have to delay further because we can't be doing both because it just won't be as good and it will just be a miss. But again, it's an opportunity cost. So yeah.
Oh, the questions are going to come in thick and fast again. Here we go. Okay. Marco G went there. Oh yeah. So guys, literally we have been, it's been very, very difficult to keep a lot of this stuff quiet. And we can obviously see, the Discord mood on different days. And there is so much information that we just had to hold back because we wanted everything to be definite and we wanted to be working towards timelines and milestones on all of this stuff. So hopefully now you have a great understanding as to why we did that. And hopefully maybe some of you, if you missed any of the AMA, you're going to have a recording that you can go back and listen to. But we'd just love to know what your thoughts are on today's AMA. If you could kind of give us a little reaction in the chat, kind of just how you're feeling about the project, we would be incredibly grateful. So much work goes on in the background that you guys don't see, but we really want this to be the project that will never appear in that hidden folder in OpenSea, and you're confident about holding and bullish on the future of. But yeah. We're super excited.
Technically, there may be a time when you want to put your stuff in the hidden folder. Is in 10 years' time when the first EMFs are dead. But we'll see.
Well, we might not be doing NFTs then either. We may have some other inventive way of keeping everybody engaged, right? Trends change. Oh,
when
I've just
Bitcoin
noticed.
is $10 and each miner makes trillion.
Exactly.
And let's not get dark anyway. Let's not get dark.
And a name you did. You missed it. You missed a load, mate. You missed the opportunity to stick your hand up as well. So, damn you. I knew you'd have some questions. Oh, here we go.
No,
should we just get the name out? Come on. We can't break
tradition.
Exactly. We cannot deny the man. He's been on every single AMA, I think, that we have done since he became part of the project. So it would be foolish of us to not allow you a moment.
You are good. You are good people. Thank you. I was good, except that you guys moved the time, so I had my whole time blocked out. But my son was visiting, had to go catch a ferry, so it's been juggling driving in from the country to drop him off. So, JT, question for you. EMF2, it's going to be $250, and that's going to get what percentage of an L7?
Yeah, I missed a bit. You missed one of the important parts here.
I know. That's one question I need quickly. That's the only one, really.
Well, you did actually catch part of it because you actually responded to it in the chat. So there's potentially, and this isn't finalized yet, but there's potentially going to be a choice of whether you want to mine Litecoin, Doge, or BTC. You know, some people might want to play it slightly safer. They might want to go BTC. In which case, then, you know, the price for miner is somewhat different than an L7. I don't know what the retail prices are for L7s at the moment, because we've seen prices decrease because of the upcoming halving, and that price is factored in. But we've switched from the S19 platforms that we've been historically our favorite in the past, and we're going with the Watts Miner AM50, just a much more modern, better machine. We can have a little play with those as well, and you know, we feel a lot more confident. So yeah, the percentage will vary for that reason. So as an example, I do know the price of the M50 because we had to quote some not that long ago. Including shipping was around $2,600. So if you say, you know, a 250 NFT will represent, you know, 9 to 10%, whereas an L7, I think including shipping's around 4.5, 5,000, something like that. Is it?
No, it's 54.
Oh, 54 is it? So 250.
Yeah, I think Commander say $5,000, $5K for the L7s you could get them for now?
No.
Got to incorporate. That's probably yes without shipping. It's about 5.3. So
goes higher
so
on.
So that'd give you about 5% roughly if you had $250.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the ROI is the ROI, right? So
right.
You're going to have a percentage of the amount that machine is generating.
And did we nail down an estimated lifespan? Like the worst case, was it 3 years, or are we going a little higher now with these?
3.5 is the number that Commander lives and dies by.
Yeah, to 4 and then up 7 if all goes like extremely well.
Yeah, my calculations, I've been running 3.5, and that gives you about 33% a year on including depreciation and assuming the machine just blows up at the end of 3.5 years, which just isn't realistic. But yeah,
my personal expectation and kind of I'm very pessimistic, so I go with the lowest possible, which I just in my head is 3.
Is 3? Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I just whatever, like whenever I invest in something or you know, go into something, I just expect the worst, because that way it's very hard to get disappointed. So 3 years I'm happy. If it goes to like 5, I'll be living my best life. But 3 years I'm happy. So that's what everyone should do, by the way.
And I do think, like, I think from a market standpoint too, like if you can literally survive now, right, at those returns, you know, any upside movement is a substantial adjustment to the returns, right? Like that's where you can really win.
Yeah, we had a conversation, you and I, about this, and I've had it with many people actually. But it's if people play it smart and they in the future choose to claim the native tokens that they earn, aka this was for the L7 example for the Doge and Litecoin miners. Doge and Litecoin bounce around a lot, so there's a very good chance that you can just cut down your return on investment by a mile, just by kind of trading those up cycles, I guess. So that's what I'm doing personally when the option is available. If not investing in ETFs. But so everyone's ideas on this are kind of different from what I've seen and heard. But yeah,
which should be, because everybody has their own risk tolerance, right? They need to manage accordingly what they're doing. Guys, I think great job. So just a quick question, but why the 250 price? Why not like 125? Just make it a little easier for people to come in, or is it more to do with scale of what you're trying to accomplish?
We just realized that, like, when we did the maths and everything, that no one really mints much below 5 or 10. So we said, okay, let's double the price. Because technically, you know, it's proportion, right? And if we're seeing that no one really goes for the 1, or very few people go for the 1,
right?
But to go for like 5 to 10 or 10 and above, then yeah, why not?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it makes it less clunky for everyone. It's I just literally, guys, I paid almost $1,000 the other day, transferring all of my EMFs from one ledger to my Keystone. So if they were half the price, I would have saved myself fucking 500 quid. But we moved, so yeah, it just convenient for everyone, especially if it's,
Did anybody ask that question about using a different blockchain to make it so much easier, like to pay? Like, who cares if it's on Ethereum? I couldn't care less.
Did. I couldn't care less as well. But for now, we're focused on dashboard and a few other things, which we can then in the future look into converting to another chain.
Okay. So guys, so just so you know, and I've talked to you both about it, but I'm still super interested in that. Like, I want to, like, let's fucking go. Let's get that going. Cause I could easily do that on the Theta blockchain where the gas fees are like 1 cent kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it'd be so simple to get something like that going. Right. Anyhow, I just, or there's Matic or so many other ones.
Yeah, we need to look into it more, to be honest. But again, we're happy with. Sorry, in terms of the sorry. Did you mean the distribution of funds, or did you mean the
both
mint?
The mint and the distribution of funds? Because I think both, as you know, again, it's a similar thing. Like when that all adds up when you start doing big amounts, right?
Well, it adds up for sure, but last time we sold 25 mints for like $6-7, which isn't too painful for it to be on a pretty much one of the biggest chains. But for payouts, we're 100% going to look into other options, as well as ability to let us hold the funds for you, automatic mints and airdrops of new EMFs. So, for example, if you've accumulated $1,000 and it's if it's 250 a mint, we will be able to just airdrop you 4 mints, if that makes sense, or let you mint for free.
Right.
So we'll be doing many things. Again, I want to have people. I want to give people the ability to have heaps of options, just across the whole ecosystem, right?
Yeah, sure, fair enough. Yeah, if they got options.
Sorry.
If they got options, I just hate paying, $16, $25. When you're doing something to all of a sudden you're going like, over 3.5-4 years, that adds up, right? That's like $50 a month.
Yeah. So we'll look at it for sure. Yeah. We are spending. Yeah, we are losing out money right now for airdropping.
Well, yeah, the higher mint on the mint side of things, the higher mint price obviously means less ERC tokens, right?
Yeah.
So that's a positive in that regard. But on the payout side of things, the airdropping for us, I mean, the first airdrop, of course, the luck that we seem to have here, right? We launch a project and either ETH takes a dive, or we're in the middle of the largest shitcoin season that I think has been witnessed. We had to delay the payment by a few days because of bloody Pepe. But
hey, I made a bunch of money on that. So did many of us. Don't judge Pepe. It wasn't Pepe.
Yeah, but the thing is, JT, though, like, I mean, I think most people listening, from what I've seen in the Discord, are in for this for the long term, right? So, like, for us, it's like, no, I don't care as long as the stuff keeps mining and minting and making me money while I sleep, right? That's what I want. If I don't have to be at a desk staring at a screen and trading, and I can just, let this keep doing its thing, and I'm getting paid.
100%.
Right? Who doesn't want that?
100%, and that was that's the whole premise of getting the new website up. The changes to payouts in the future, where it'll probably be a claim, because that then allows us to hang on to those funds for you until you want them, or you want to take action with what you have accumulated, i.e., you want to put it into the new collections available. You want to put your money into that. It just gives a hell of a lot more choice. But Heli led one of the first marketplaces that was an ETH based PFP with a Polygon based marketplace. So props to him.
Exactly. Cool, guys. Well, listen, thanks for pulling me up. I just wanted to catch up on that stuff real quick. And JT, we'll talk later if you're around, or we'll catch up.
Sure. Yeah. Tomorrow's probably going to be better, bud. I need to go and see my son. I haven't seen him all day today.
I'll buzz you tomorrow. I'll buzz you
Super.
tomorrow.
Yeah, good stuff. Let's do that.
And I would say one comment on the whole choice of Bitcoin. Personally, if I'm wanting to mine, I want whatever's most efficient. And if I need Bitcoin, I'll just, I can sell it every 2 weeks and get what I want, right? Just from a trader standpoint. Again, I'd much rather have, a machine working as efficiently as it can for me. So I always take the proceeds of Litecoin or Doge and just buy Bitcoin if that's what I want to hold, right? Long term.
Yeah, and we are gonna again make that we're gonna make that option clear in people's heads before we even do the mint. But if people want to diversify into Bitcoin miners for one reason or another, that's the choice there, right?
Yeah, but it would be really good on that choice option to show the efficiency in comparables, right? Like mining L7s is 60% more efficient than mining Bitcoin, for example, which would give you X amount of dollars, whatever the number would be, right?
Yeah,
I think people can make better decisions that way.
We'll, as we said before, what we'll do is we'll basically present the business case for both. We do have the Litecoin halving coming in August. Price.
Bring it on.
I'm not quite as bullish as Commander. Only in the sense of that there will be an initial price. I think there will be an initial price drop off and recovery. But there will be a lot of blocks where people, it just will not be profitable for them to mine in that pool any longer, and so we'll see a drop off. We'll see the squeeze on supply. People normally seem to get bullish after a halving, right? But obviously the thing that we're all keeping a watchful eye on is the Bitcoin halving next year. We all know what happened after the last Bitcoin halving. We're all hoping that we can get back up into the lofty heights of the 40, the 50, the 60Ks and blast past the all-time high for last year. But there's a large dose of hopium that comes with that. We don't know the timescales. And coupled with that success, of course, the increase comes in the price of the hardware. The mining hardware that we've been buying up until recently, was 4 times the price on some models. So the supplies are very opportunistic. You won't see that in the traditional hardware world. So yeah, we've got to time our releases and time our purchases quite carefully. So
in June 1st, crypto is supposed to be open up to Hong Kong residents to buy. So I personally think that's going to over the next while is going to drive some pricing for us, especially things like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum.
Well, we don't want it. We don't want too much price action before the mint.
What day's the mint?
We don't have a day yet. We will be releasing that over the course of the next week. We've got quite a lot to do in the background in terms of working on partnerships. We don't want to jump the gun. It would be quite nice if maybe we were in a position where we can offer this out to the public this time around. So, and we obviously want to release any form of discounts, for those that are holding Genesis and a bulk discount. We're going to do something around that, but details are still TBC. But Heli did drop a hint, and also the referral side of things. Don't forget that if you do bring a project in and they do spend, there is the potential that we will be airdropping some EMF. But
cool.
More details to come on that as well.
You got a rough idea though? Are we talking in the next few days, or a month or 2 months, or you got a rough idea of the time?
Oh, it's going to be in June.
June sometime. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about having funds. We'll have time for. You have funds around.
Well, look,
will it be similar to the pre-mint as before, where you have put your deposit down and then you've got your 2-3 weeks to get the rest of it organized?
We are not doing reserve this time. We did that last time. We did that last time at the behest of there were 2 quite significant DAOs coming in that were taking a chunk, and they had put their proposals in, and we had needed to wait for them. It was quite popular with some of our holders, but this time around there'll be a window in place. Do what?
Let's give us the fucking money.
Yeah, there you go. The bottom line
you guys
is
see how I try to give JT talking pills, right? Everybody listening, you see why I come up? I try to give JT talking pills.
Yeah, so there will be a window. There will be a window for all of our holders to mint. We are going to be releasing. Helly, we doing it? Are we going to release tonight the form?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's stick that in and out. Let's get that into announcements. We're going to be releasing a form for you to state your interest. We'll be giving you guys some time ahead of our working with our pre-launch partners, where we're doing some, we're going to do the same pretty much as we did last time. It was a recipe that really worked well. So we'll be working with some pre-launch partners. They'll have the opportunity to buy. They will not be getting a discount unless they decide that they're going to buy a very large quantity, in which case then, as Hedy mentioned, there will be a bulk discount. Albeit quite a small one, because obviously we're playing with fine margins here, and ultimately we want to get as many machines as humanly possible to make it, so everyone's making bank at the end of every cycle. But yeah, the after pre-launch partners are done, then we'll open the doors to the public for them to buy. This time around, as I said, we've got our new social media manager, Eloise. She's going to be pushing out content across multiple platforms. The idea is to get eyes on the project, for people that probably are not going to catch one of our partner AMAs or are sitting on one of our spaces. So, the idea is to bring new eyes in. So, I said, I know that the community does such a fantastic job of welcoming people who are new into the Discord, and we're very, very grateful for that, because ultimately the more people we can get, the better chance we have of a nice mint out and more machines stacked on shelves. We've not got the issue this time of space. That was why we had to suddenly call a halt to the mint when we got to 8,444. We didn't have any physical space left to put the miners. We could have kept it. We could have kept it open, and we probably would have sold a boatload more. We probably would have got to 10K eventually. But we had to make the call on that and call things to a halt. Unfortunately, sadly, no public.
Technically, there's an argument to be made that people can deploy more funds now for cheaper machines. So
exactly, yeah, because if they're 5,300 landed, the other ones are 7,200 landed. So
actually got 6.3
or 60. Sorry, yeah, I said 70. Yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah, but still, I mean, that gives you can turn around and take returns and scale what you've got already on returns, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, cool, guys. All right, listen, thanks, JT. I'll touch base with you tomorrow. And
nice one.
Shout out to the Enigma Economy and everybody else. Yeah,
let's go.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming up, and you've kept your run going.
Yeah, sounds good. And let's go Litecoin and Doge. Rally, rally, rally.
100%. So this is a last and final call. If you've got any questions, please do raise your hand. We'll happily bring you up so you can get your question asked. We'll leave this open for a few minutes. But if there is no questions, we will call it a night. We've been going for a full-on 2 hours, and I'm sure you've had enough of the alpha that we've been saving up. If you do think of any questions after the event, please feel free to post them in the main chat or the cave or the trench, wherever it is that you guys hang out, and we'll happily answer those for you. Otherwise, I think we're going to call it. Any final words, Helly?
Nah, not really.
3, 2, 1, Romeo, done in that case. Guys, thank you so much for sticking with us. Really appreciate each and every last one of you for sticking with us. I know many of you in here have been with us a hell of a long time. The good times are around the corner. So just like to thank Maxi for getting up incredibly early. Thanks, buddy. And obviously to my co-host, Helly, for providing a really, really awesome update there. So with that, I'd like to say thank you very much. And stay tuned. Look out for the announcement coming for you to register your interest in EMF2. And yeah, we'll see you in the Discord. And yeah, we'll start posting out the AMAs with the partner projects and some Twitter spaces as well. So let's fucking go. Cheers, everybody.
In a bit.
Good morning to all.